All right. What's up, everybody? Mr. Smith here. Got a video on the law of sines and the law of cosines, and I just got back from guys' camp out. Been out in the woods. I am sorry if you are waiting to hear from me on an on-campus message. I went off the grid. I didn't take my computer, my phone, even took off my Fitbit so that I could just unplug and be out in God's creation for about 72 hours. It was beautiful. And I am tired, and I did get rained on, and the rain dripped through my tent onto my face in the middle of the night. But I survived, and we're back at it. This is a mini unit on triangles, and I honestly think that if you're good with calculators, and if you're good at plugging and chugging into formulas, I think that you'll be in good shape for this unit. But I also know that many of us did not do well on that triangle portion of the first test. And so if that was you, then pay extra close attention in this video as we shift and talk about two different types of triangles. How to solve triangles in two different ways. Okay, and this is picking up the law of sines and the law of cosines. This is picking up with the Desmos activity that you worked on off-campus day. And then Monday in class, we talked mostly about the law of sines, which I'm only going to spend 1 minute reviewing in case some of you missed it. And then we're going to mostly focus on the law of cosines here. So just a refresher on what the law of sines is, because we did this in class. You use the law of sines to solve a triangle. Okay, when you hear the phrase solve a triangle, it just means find sides or angles of a triangle. Okay, and the law of sines and cosines are mostly used for triangles that are not right triangles, because if you have a right triangle, then you can use SOHCAHTOA and set up your relationships. But I've had students in the past who, once I teach them the law of sines and cosines, they ditch SOHCAHTOA and they just always use law of sines and cosines. So maybe that's you. Maybe this will be your gateway to solving triangles more efficiently. You use the law of sines when you're given 2 angles or 3 angles. So if you see at least 2, which if you're given 2, you can then find the third. So honestly, if you see 2 angles of a triangle, law of sines is the best way to go. And the law of sines, if you forget, is a relationship that has 3 parts, but you interchange which ones you use depending on which side you're looking for. But what its base is that you can have side length A and divide that by the sine of angle A, and that is equal to side length B divided by the sine of angle B, which could also be equal to side length C over sine of angle C. So you never use all 3 in a row like that. You just use 2, depending on which ones you're given and which ones you're trying to find. And once again, there's some cross multiplication that happens there to solve for your missing sides. We'll do one in a second. But I want this video to focus on law of cosines. Law of cosines is a little more complicated, but it's still just kind of plug and chug into a formula. And we're not going to deep dive really into creating that formula, proving it like we did a little bit with the Desmos activity for law of sines. But law of cosines is used when you're given 1 angle, or if you're given none. I should probably say this: 1 or 0 angles. So there's actually a way to solve for all of your angles if you're given the side lengths instead, which we'll do. So look at number 1. 2 angles. We could find that one by subtracting, and we'd use law of sines there. Let's go ahead and just do one example of that, and then we'll do 2 examples of law of cosines. Okay, so let's put our given down. Angle A is 110. Angle B is 19. 110 plus 19 is 129. 180 minus 129 is 51. Let's make sure 60, 70, 80. Yeah. Okay, we got our 3 angles. We know that lowercase a, side a, is 14. And that's all we know. So here's what I like to say, and I said this in class a bunch. The main time when you use law of sines is if you have an angle and a side that go together, like you have that relationship, then you know you can go ahead and do this. 14, which is the side length, over the sine of 110 is equal to, let's find the biggest one first, so let's find C, is equal to C over sine of 51. Notice that setup. 14 over sine 110 was given to me in the problem. 14 and 110, they go together. So that's money when you get that, because then you just set up your law of sines. We cross multiply. So 14 times sine of 51 equals sine of 110 times C. So C is going to be equal to whatever 14 sine of 51 divided by sine of 110 is. So I don't like to round any of that. I'm going to put that exactly into my calculator. So let me just slide this over so I can see it because I have a bad memory. Let's do alpha y equals 14 sine of 51 divided by sine of 110, and we get 11.578. That was for side C. And how do we find side B? We do the exact same thing. Another law of sines. We cannot use Pythagorean theorem. No Pythagorean theorem. Why not? Because this is not a right triangle. Pythagorean theorem only works in right triangles, which is what you've used mostly in the past. So you've probably gotten so used to using it, but be careful, you cannot always use it. We'd have to do another quick law of sines. So I'm going to set it up, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to move to the cosines. So it would be, let's use 14 over sine of 110 again. This time we're equaling it to b over the sine of 19. You would cross multiply, solve for b, and get your answer. But what if you don't have two angles or three angles? What if you only have one? What if you have none? Then you would need to use the law of cosine. So this is a law of sines problem, but this one here, we only have one angle, is a law of cosines problem. Okay? What is the law of cosines? We need to put it at the top, so I'm clearing this out. Okay? While you're working on your homework, if you forget the law of sines or cosines, you can just do this. Just type it in Google, go to images, and here it is. So, what the heck is this, Smith? Yeah, it's not that complicated. It's showing you that it can be written three different ways. There's only one formula. But like if you're looking for side A or angle A, then you would use this first formula where A is by itself on the left side. If you're looking for side B or angle B, then you'd use the middle version. Notice it's just switched around. A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine A. Whereas this one, the B and the A are switched. So wherever there was an A in this first one, there's a B, and vice versa. Wherever there was an A in the first one, there's a C in this one. So the way that I remember it, and it'll help us when you can see me write this down, but the way that I remember it is the law of cosine. Let's just do the A one. A squared equals, the only other A that you write is at the very end, cosine of A. So you have A on the far left, A on the far right. Everything in the middle is different. So A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus, and this is where you just got to do a little memorization, 2BC. 2 times B times C times the cosine of A. So just some refreshers. This right here, B and C are also going to be right there, B and C. And this A is going to match this. So if I needed to switch it around, and I'm actually solving for, let's say, B, then this would be an A. This would still be a C. Then this would be an A and a C. And this would be a B, because it has to match the front. So last but not least, if that's a C, then these are a and b, which this means these are a and b. It's always minus 2. And then this would be cosine of c. So those are the 3 law of cosines, the ways you could use them. And whatever you're looking for, is that's the one you want to use. So if we're looking for A, we're going to use the first one. If we're looking for B, we're going to use the second one. If we're looking for C, we're going to use the third one. So you're like, oh man, these aren't A, B, C, this is M, N, P. Well, if that ever happens, you can just kind of off to the side, just know A, B, C. Just remind yourself, okay? Probably should put big letters. Or you can just use M, N, P. Honestly, that's better. I don't want you to get in the habit of changing it every time to A, B, and C. That's lame. Let's just use these. So, what do we got? Let's do what the triangle gave us first. We only know one angle. Angle N is 25 degrees. We know that side P is 11 and side M is 8. And that's all we got. So we have to use law of cosines. And the first thing we need to find is this missing side. Because once we know this side, we can then be free to do a couple different things. So let's find side N. So we say N squared equals the other two squared, M squared plus P squared minus 2MP cosine of N. Well, we have some of this to fill in. We actually have all of this to fill in except for the front part. Here's what I mean. N squared we don't know. But we do know M, it's 8, so 8 squared. Plus, we do know P, 11 squared. Minus 2 times M times P times the cosine of N, which we know, 25. So N, which is what we're looking for, side N, the way we would get that by itself, right, would be to square root it. So if we just want to type one thing on our calculator and not have to like break it into a bunch of different steps and really worry about, you know, the right parentheses and everything, that's what we're going to type in. Pause that video and go back and watch what I did. I knew what was given to me was angle N, and I knew I was looking for side N, so that's why I used this formula right here, where N was on the outside. But let's go and punch this in. Let's pull it up. Scoot this over here so we can see it. Alright, the second square root of 8 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 8 times 11 times cosine 25. Push enter. Bang. Side N is, what is it? 5.049. 5.049. 5.049. Okay. So I'm going to delete this, but you can pause the video right now and save it so that you can have that, but I need more space to write. So we have found all the side links. Now for the last minute of this video, I'll just set up how to find the angle, and then we'll honestly pick up in class on where to go from here. So to find the angle, let's find angle M. So then we would use M first. So M squared equals N squared plus P squared minus 2NP cosine of M. M squared is 8. 8 squared equals N squared is 5.049 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 5.049 times 11 times cosine of M. Whoa, okay, this one's a little trickier. So here's what we're going to do. And I'm going to run out of time, so I'm not even going to be able to do it. I'm just going to have to explain it. You come in with questions. Pause and watch me do this, though. We need to solve for this. We need to solve for that, which means we need to subtract this over. We need to subtract that over. And then we need to divide by that so that all we have left is cosine M. And then we inverse whatever that decimal is, inverse cosine. Talk to you tomorrow. Pause and rewatch.